Howdy, partner. Man, isn't life just like a horse that won't break in, just kicks you in the chest and you fall in the mud and break a limb and then eventually get gangrene and die a slow, painful death? Yeah. Well, let's not think about that. Let's watch a movie instead. Today, what we're going to talk about is, I know I say every time it's like my favorite movie except for Summer Rental, but this is definitely one of my favorite movies. We're going to talk about Tombstone. It's a Western that was made in 1993, and it is about Wyatt Earp. So it's based on true events. And one of the events that happens in the movie is the shootout at the OK Corral. And in the movie, Wyatt Earp, played by Kurt Russell, basically reluctantly becomes a lawman again, and he takes on this local gang of thieves and brigands called the Cowboys. And after the shooting in the OK Corral, the Cowboys come after Wyatt Earp and his two brothers, and Wyatt Earp takes revenge. Oh man, this is such a good movie. It's so great because it's not interminably long like older Westerns and newer Westerns, if we're honest. It's just the right length of time, and it's not super gory, but it has like a good amount of just shooting and revenge. Obviously, if you don't like shooting and that sort of stuff, then don't watch this. Watch the next video where I talk about the birdcage, because that's gonna be excellent. I have to hold this mug like with two hands. I don't understand why they make mugs that are humongous like this and then they got a little itty bitty handle. Like, I can't hold this with 3 fingies. This is a 4-fingy deal. Doc Holliday is for sure the best thing about this movie. Obviously, I'm sure even if you haven't seen this movie, you've probably heard some of the things Doc Holliday says in this movie. It's very quotable.
I'm your huckleberry.
I've not yet begun to defile myself.
Your daisy if you do.
Kurt Russell is just so excellent at being tortured. Kudos, quite frankly, to the writers of this film who took like the patois that I don't even know actually existed. I am not sure if some of these phrases were real or made up, but either way, like, finding them and then using them in context is astounding. Also, it's twofold, because it's great writing to think of a phrase like that or find it, you know, a phrase that would have been used. And then it's really excellent how the actors managed to use them in a way that did not sound absurd. Like, there's this scene.
Go ahead, skin it. Skin that smoke wagon and see what happens.
And of course, there's stuff like this.
No need to go heel to get the bulge on a tub like you.
And then like the Latin battle.
No veritas.
Agic would agis.
I would definitely say this is like Val Kilmer's best ever movie. Like, best acting, you know, just him at his like absolute best. And I'm even counting MacGruber in that, so this is a really good movie to watch if you're feeling like you don't have any control over your life. Like, I am absolutely not saying it is okay to shoot and kill anyone. Absolutely not. But this is like catharsis, you know? This is like a Greek tragedy. Like, you watch it and you feel these intense emotions.
You tell him I'm coming! And hell's coming with me, you hear? Hell's coming with me!
And then when you're done, you go back to, you know, sitting at your desk 9 to 5. You know what I'm saying? But like, this is a great movie to watch when you're just feeling downtrodden. When your boss, who goes to the yacht club instead of doing her work or his work, you know, and yells at you on the phone and whatever, or your boss tells you to smile more, or tells you to prepare notes for a meeting and then doesn't even show up. Or when there's only sports on in the break room and you really just would like to watch anything other than a sport. Or when you get an email that's like, did you see my previous email?
No!
Or when you feel that horrible, heavy desperation that settles in on you the moment you walk into your cubicle.
I'm dying. How are you?
This is the kind of movie to watch when you're feeling those feelings, you know? It gets your blood a-pumping. It makes you feel alive. It's like you can taste the Western air. There's this shot of like Wyatt and his brothers and Doc Holliday, and they're walking down the street and there's a burning building behind them and they're all dressed in black. And you feel alive when you watch this movie. You feel alive when you watch it. So yeah, you should. Also just like how dirty everyone looks. I love it. I mean, some movies achieve that nowadays, but I feel like we're so concerned often in movies now with people looking perfect, with everything looking perfect, even like when they're dirty, like looking perfect dirty. And what I like about older movies is they really either didn't have the budget for it or were really focused on just making it look like authentic, I guess. And so, there are some great like close-ups where you can see just like pores, and the cowboys are just grimy and gross, and everyone looks dewy with sweat because it's so hot.
Say when.
Yeah, all throughout the movie they ride this like middle line, you know. It's almost like Tombstone is like a mining town, right? But because of the silver, they say one of the lines is like the finest Paris fashion sold on the back of wagons or something. And so it's this all through the movie you feel this dichotomy, it's tension between roughness and refinement, and between, you know, good and evil, and between like law and order and chaos and violence, and how close all of those things are to each other, how thin the line is between all of them. God, this movie is so good. And I mean, you can just watch it and enjoy it, but you can also watch it again and again and really think about those deeper questions. Anyway, I have so many thoughts and feelings about this movie. I love it. Whenever I'm just feeling in that like dark, brooding sort of mood, this movie is so good. Or bored, and when I just want to get my blood pumping, you know, this is such a good movie to do that. And while you're watching it, you can imagine, who would you be in the Wild West? Would you be a cowboy? Would you be a cowboy, or would you be a cowboy, or would you be a whore? Because that was pretty much the role of any woman in these films. Or a wife. Whore or a wife? Which do you choose? Well, that about wraps it up, if we're honest. I could go on for ages about this film, but I won't. Anyway, watch movies, drink coffee, and buckle up and ride out into the sunset. Evening.